Could it be? Yes, it could. Something's coming, something good. This music is phenomenal. Thank you, you wonderful icon. Welcome back to my channel where I love discussing all brand new things cinema and entertainment. I really do appreciate you guys clicking on this thumbnail. I really hope you enjoy your stay because we are looking at the remake of West Side Story. Finally, after a year's delay, we're getting to see this. It's directed by Steven Spielberg and it stars the likes of Ansel, Elgort, Rachel Zegler, Brian D.R.C. James, as well as Rita Moreno. This is essentially a musical retelling of Romeo and Juliet, one of Shakespeare's most famous plays. Love at first sight strikes when young Tony spots Maria at a high school dance in 1957 New York City, and their burgeoning romance helps to personalize the feud between warring gangs known as the Jets and the Sharks, who are mainly vying for territory, control of the streets of the West Side. Guys, I'm a big fan of West Side Story. I've seen the original 1961 classic a couple of times. I've seen the stage show a couple of times as well. So when it was announced recently that this was getting remade, I'm not gonna lie, I had my doubts. Like, what's the purpose of this movie even existing beyond being the equivalent of a Broadway revival? You know what I mean? My mindset was, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And to an extent, that's true. There are a few points when watching this remake where it kind of was difficult for me to justify its existence. But guys, if there's one person working in Hollywood right now who I would have trusted full on to take on a remake of this classic, Steven Spielberg would have been that guy. And lo and behold, the studio got him, and he brought his top tier level of filmmaking to the proceedings. And I honestly believe that there were enough updates within this version of West Side Story that really justified it being remade in general. I really had a blast watching this. Side note, isn't it crazy that number one, we can still go to the theater these days and see a brand new film directed by the same guy who brought us Jaws? That is insane to me. And number two, it's baffling to me that this is Spielberg's first musical feature. Sure, he's directed some musical numbers in the past, a la Temple of Doom, but this is the first time he's actually taken on an old Broadway classic and put it to the silver screen. And you can just feel the passion that Spielberg as well as screenwriter Tony Kushner have for this material. This is an enthusiastic passion project if I ever saw one in 2021, and I think they make enough subtle changes to where it doesn't detract away from the enduring value of what Leonard Bernstein, Jerome Robbins, and Stephen Sondheim did all those years ago. And Spielberg truly has done it again. Another knockout hit from a guy who just keeps cranking them out one after the other. Need further proof? Just to look at that opening track shot. It's a very theatrical opening, which ends with the Jets literally popping out from a trap door. As soon as I saw that, I knew I was in pretty good hands with a director who certainly knows what he's doing. Speaking of knowing what they're doing, this entire production team hits the nail on the head. This set design of some dilapidated West Side buildings are truly a sight to behold. The costume design in this film, my word, it really does feel like you're transported into the 1950s. The music in this film, you know it's top notch. The orchestrations feel as grand as ever. The movie goes through all the musical's greatest hits with a few tweaks here and there when switching up solo parts around. And this is actually one nitpick I had with this version of West Side Story. Some of you who know me personally will know that one of my personal dream roles is riff, mainly because my favorite song in this show is Cool. And when that number came up, boy howdy, I was hyped. But without spoiling anything, they do switch something up regarding the song's story as well as its placement. Not to mention, there's also a very out of place soloist in Cool, and the more I thought about it, it kind of gets on my nerves. I mean, given the context of what they were going for, it makes sense. I don't know, maybe this is just the West Side Story purist in me, but it very much caught me off guard, and I still don't know if I like it or not, which, speaking of, let's discuss Ansel Elgort as Tony. Now, look everybody, he's been fairly good in a lot of recent acting roles that he's gotten, like The Fault in Our Stars and Baby Driver especially. I love him in that film, and he can certainly act the part of Tony. He does his best to make Tony a more interesting character than he's written to be, but his singing was kind of hit or miss for me. He's fine, it's not bad or anything, but he finishes up singing Something's Coming, which is another one of my favorite songs in the show, and I've definitely heard better covers of that number out there. I thought his version was just decent. It didn't knock me off my feet, because like I said, there are stage performers who have done this song way better. If you need proof of that, just go watch Darren Criss on the 3rd season of Glee, because if you know, you know. But the rest of this cast, fan-freaking-tastic. Ariana DeBose as Anita absolutely shines in what I believe is a shoo-in to take home the Golden Statue for Best Supporting Actress. She has so many dynamic moments in the big group numbers, which are so fun to watch, by the way, with fast-paced and frenetic choreography. This is the only time where I wish a school dance never ended. It was so cool. Speaking of, Mike Faist, who was the original Connor Murphy, is a lot of fun as Riff. He's got a red-hot temper that you really don't want to mess with. Like I said, I really wished Cool would have been his big showcase, but I guess that's what the Jet song is for. And David Alvarez as Bernardo is extremely intense and a fantastic foil to what Riff is. But guys, let's face it, the real shining star of this movie is Rachel Zegler as Maria. She is a freaking revelation. And trust me, this will not be a one-hit wonder for her. Her chemistry with Ansel Elgort was not only fantastic and adorable, but this character is so well realized. She is so easy to get behind, so independent, and she was absolutely mesmerizing to watch. Please give her some more work, Spielberg. Not to mention, she does have the voice of a freaking angel. Now, speaking of actors who need more work, I gotta talk about Brian D'Arcy James, my dude, one of my favorite stage actors working right now. He plays Officer Krupke in this. Hilarious. Look out for a fun gimmick he has involving stomach cramps. He's the man. I really need to see him in more films. And a special shout out also to Rita Moreno as Valentina, who returns to West Side Story after originating the role of Anita in the 1961 version. She basically plays a female twist on the character of Doc, and she's actually the one who gets to sing somewhere in this. And she does so beautifully. I would argue that that's one of the emotional highlights of the entire flick. And don't worry, just in case you've never seen West Side Story, I'm not going to give away the ending, but that pretty much remains unchanged in this version. And there were people sitting close by me in this theater who were bawling their eyes out. That just goes to show you that West Side Story is a show that still 65 years after its opening night, it still resonates very much with people. It still holds that emotional effect. That's a big reason why you see so many high school drama clubs putting this show on their stages. Because this show is so beloved by so many people. And it's safe to say that West Side Story has a brand new paint job for a new generation with Steven Spielberg's name written all over it. And this is certainly one of the more fun films I've had the honor of sitting through this year. And as the stage actor myself, I may be a little bit biased in saying that. And like I've mentioned, I do have a few fair little nitpicks sprinkled throughout it, but let's just say that this is a movie that you definitely have to see on the biggest screen possible, and it just emerged as a top contender to take home a bunch of Oscars again. I'm gonna give West Side Story an A-. Really think about how historical it would be if it took home all the Oscars that it could, especially seeing as how the original version already nagged a majority of the nominations that it received back in the day. Oh, that would be wild. But yes, absolutely check this out on the big screen, especially if you're a fan of the original source material, if you're a fan of Stephen Sondheim, rest in peace, and if you're just a Broadway fan in general, I think you're gonna admire quite a bit about this movie. But guys, of course, this is all just my opinion. Let me know what you thought of West Side Story down in the comments section below. Have you guys seen the original stage version? Have you seen the original film version? And let me know what your favorite version of the West Side Story is. Because, guys, I love making this content, and I love interacting with you guys. It makes things all the better. And if you guys are new to the channel, don't forget to smash that subscribe button down below as hard as you possibly can. This channel is on the road to 1,000 subscribers, a number I'm hoping to reach very soon. It's not only beneficial to myself and the channel, it's beneficial to all of you guys, because you'll be the first ones in the know whenever a new video hits the channel. Not to mention, it's also completely free to you guys, so what's stopping you? And don't forget to smash that thumbs up button on your way out. That would be absolutely tremendous help. And of course, look out for more exciting content hitting this channel very soon. This includes my review of Don't Look Up, Adam McKay's newest Oscar season hit with a big giant ensemble. And I'll also be wrapping up my Spider-Man series in the hype up to No Way Home, releasing on the 17th. But certainly a lot to look forward to this holiday season, guys. Y'all are the best. I cannot thank you guys enough for your support. And with all that being said, back talk commence.